Who knows what evil lives in the heart of games? The Shadow knows. Hi, I'm the Shadow Knows, and I'm back with another Let's Compare video. Tonight I'm going to compare different versions of the Competition Pro joysticks. And yeah, let's start with the earliest model, and this is not in a complete and working state, but yeah, and the big difference, oh, it's also a screw missing, big difference between this original model and all the other models is, wait, I have to unscrew it, and yeah, it's really obvious. Yeah, it doesn't have micro switches. It has these leaf contacts, which do react faster, and I'm not sure if you can replace them with arcade parts, but yeah, leaf contacts instead of micro switches. And also on the button, it has the same buttons that the later ones have, but yeah, that's the original one. Okay, next is the one that most of us remember as the original one. It's this one. There's Competition Pro on the back. And it has micro switches for the directions and leaf contacts for the fire buttons. And I think this is also not working, because I hear a click missing, and I think I butchered it for a micro switch for another one, for a quick replacement. Because that's the only problem with the micro switches that I can buy in quantity. At least the ones that I can find at the usual electronics shops. They all have solder tabs, or oh yeah, I've butchered one of these, and it already has the cheaper, really crusty, crappy, no-name micro switches, but it still has the good old leaf contact fire buttons. So, and also the plastic feels a little bit thinner than I'm used to. So I'm not sure if it's an original one, but yeah, you can see I've took one of those because I think those fit into the slot for the fire buttons on the newer ones, which my replacement ones that I get do not. Yeah, screw that back together, and I'm not stopping the camera each time. And I think I really have to sort my collection of Competition Pros and get more of them working, because the new ones they are not bad, but they are not as good as a really good working original one with the leaf contact fire buttons. Yeah, that was a little bit of a disappointment, because it has the crusty micro switches in it. Yanks. I hate gravity. Next was the Competition Pro Extra. It still has the rubber bearing for the stick, and this sadly is one of the later models which suffer from sticky fire buttons. The earlier models came with leaf contact fire buttons, and this is not the one I had originally. It's in pretty great condition elsewise, so that's why I'm not retrofitting it with other fire buttons, and I'm not using it. I keep it in the dark, so yeah, it's really clear, transparent, or you might call it, but yeah, horrible fire buttons. They really tend to get sticky, but yeah. And I'm not going to take it apart because, I am, because let's see how the Yeah, and it really got rarely used. All the rubber thingies are still there, and they still got the original texture. And the clear cases are more brittle than the black ones, I think. At least I managed to destroy one of these, the original ones with the leaf contact fire button, sadly. I managed to destroy one of those, throwing them against the wall while playing, I think it was Cybernoid or Cybernoid 2. Really frustrating game. Yeah, and shit. I hate gravity. Yeah, but you can see a small PCB for auto fire. I think auto fire and slow motion. Slow motion is crap. Still has the original micro switches inside. They were not that bad. Yeah, but I think I have to pick up the screws. I really hate gravity. Okay, next I think was the Competition Pro Star, which has some extra buttons. This is an auto fire button, this is a slow motion button again, not very useful I think. And here you can, the switch which came with a plastic thingy to get on top of it. It basically auto fire and also slow motion. The normal buttons in shiny silver, and for some reason, despite using this a lot, the silver hasn't worn off. I've seen some with incredibly worn off silver in noise. And I don't think there are any original micro switches in that, because yeah, with later joysticks the quality of the micro switches declined drastically. So they got broken really quickly, but it wasn't a huge problem because yeah, you could buy them in any corner electronics shop, and there were quite a few back then. Oh, the fire button switches are still the original ones, but I've... Yeah, and this one is also still original. You see a quite colorful mix of switches in there. Those are the ones that came in the original micro switch Competition Pro. And the problem... oh no, wait. Yeah, the problem is that, I don't know if you can see it, but the usual micro switches got... no, there isn't any one of those. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, this one. This one has two contacts or two tabs on this side, and if you have two contacts, they don't fit into this plastic holder. So it's yeah, those are a little bit harder to replace. In case of doubt, I Dremel off the extra contact. Yeah, but basically an improved version of the fire buttons from the clear one, and the two extra buttons on top. But yeah, that's it. And this time gravity didn't hate me. Or I was more careful. I don't know. And by the way, all of those who are screaming get an auto fire joystick on my Amiga videos, that's the joystick I used for all my Amiga videos, and yeah, I think you can see it does have auto fire. I'm just not using it. And I explained a couple of times why I'm not using auto fire, so I'm not explaining it again. Next comes this joystick. And yeah, I forgot to mention the Competition Pro Star has, like this one, not the rubber bearing anymore, it has a spring. And this, by the way, is the joystick I use for my Commodore 64 videos. And it still says Competition Pro, no extra buttons, no switch. But yeah, same construction as the Competition Pro Star, basically. Also taking this apart, and this one has none of the original micro switches because all of them failed. Or maybe on the right fire button, I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Yeah, and don't ask me if the quality of those micro switches was even worse than with the Competition Pro Star, but yeah, pretty abysmal quality. And I think there's a date code on it. 1292, I think. Yes, as I already thought, the right fire button is still the original micro switch, and I've replaced the fire button with another one, the left one, the one that I use. And yeah, there you can see my standard replacement micro switches. I think yeah, those were a little bit more expensive because I bought them locally at an electronics store and they had to order them. That was 10 years ago. And any brand marking on it? I think both of them are either Sherry or Marquardt, high quality industrial switches. It's also the reason why yeah, the darker ones have solder thingies on them, and those have the large tabs on them, which are much larger than the ones from the old joysticks. Yeah, but since I've replaced the switches, no problems at all, at least with those. The fire button, I think this fire button, the left one, works, and the right one, I don't use the right fire button usually, so I'm not sure if that works, but yeah, I think that's the latest model. They really are a lot cheaper. Plastics from the, you can feel it, really, the plastic on the fire button is really, really crappy. But it works. It's still the same precision, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but you can sort of see, yeah, you can see it. Here you have, I think that's the space where usually the secondary fire buttons come, the auto fire and the slow motion button from the Star. So I'm not sure why it was impossible to omit them in the remake, which is the one I'm going to show next, the current production ones. And I have never opened one of those, so I'm really nosy what micro switches they used in the current reproduction model. And it should be one of the current production run, not the one from 6 or 7 years ago. Because I bought both of my new Competition Pros on the Amiga event. I bought one in Amsterdam and one in Neuss because I didn't have enough money in Amsterdam. It's also the reason why I bought the Micromills in Neuss and not already in Amsterdam. So yeah, that's the new reproduction one. It is really loud and clicky and springy, and not really sure about the secondary fire buttons, and better quality plastic on the fire button, and they really feel strong and springy too, which is a problem because they don't accept my thick screwdriver, so I have to go back to this smaller. Come on, why doesn't it want to be screwed? this one screw does not want. But I'm stronger than you, screw. Screw you, screw. Yeah, this is probably really boring. And what's interesting, I just noticed, it does not say individual computers on the bottom of the stick. It says, come on, Speedlink. Just like on the USB variant. And I wonder why there's no individual computers on the bottom. Because I think Jens paid for the complete production run in advance, which I think wasn't very little money, and yeah, I don't think the demand for those joysticks is really high, those retro ones. Not sure why, probably because the Competition Pro is so abundant and so easy to repair that you still can get a perfectly working one with good old micro switches. On retro fairs, I'm not sure about eBay. I don't look for eBay prices. I don't like to buy retro stuff on eBay. It's not cheaper than on a retro fair in general. And yeah, on a retro fair I can pick them up and have a look on them, and I think I'm planning to build a joystick tester. Not sure if I just make it for basically Atari joystick, then it's a complete passive thing. There's some hot snot residue. The switches are soldered, but they are the correct size, so maybe I butcher one of those, solder in, yeah, I should show you also. Yeah, those would fit in the fire buttons, because some hot snot on the fire buttons. I don't like that. But yeah, I think what they are branded. They are branded Yue King Song Ma. So definitely no Sherry or Marquardt or the good Swiss made, the dark ones in the original ones. They were Swiss made. So yeah, cheap Chinese switches instead of the really good Swiss or German made switches. But yeah, let's see how long they last. And I think I really think I butcher some of those switches. And the cable should have all 9 pins connected through, so you can. This is just a switch to turn off the top fire buttons, the extra fire buttons off. Those ones. But you can actually fit in auto fire. All the 9 wires are supposed to be connected through, so I think you can also rewire it to be an MSX compatible. Yeah, I really think I butchered those 4 switches from one of my new ones and used them as spare switches for the fire buttons. Yeah, but yeah, a little bit disappointment that those are cheap Chinese switches. Why is it so hard to say? But on the other hand, it was to be expected, because yeah, they don't cost a fortune, and if you don't buy those micro switches from Overstock, which I did, so I paid less than $1 for the ones that I ordered online. Contacts on those are not optimal, but yeah, I can live with that if the micro switches only cost 95 cents, I think, and this is incredibly cheap for, I think they are Marquardt branded. I'm not so taking them out because I'm not entirely sure where they live. but it feels sturdy enough, so yeah, I think I really butcher those switches for spares for the fire buttons in my other ones. And since the competition pros are really abundant, I don't think they go for more than 50 bucks, 15 bucks on a retro fair. And since you can easily replace the micro switches in there, yeah, there's no need to be careful not to destroy one of those using them. I will be careful with the clear one, especially because it's in its current state with the original fire button. It's pretty useless. They got stuck all the time, and I really always hated that. I quite quickly replaced it. Replaced the left fire button. I don't care about the right one. And last but not least, the Competition Pro USB joystick. And this is from the earlier production one, I think. Is there a time code on it? No, there isn't. QC Pass. Is it a 2010? Cannot exactly read it. I think it's a QC Pass 2010. My glasses back on, so yeah, maybe you can read it. So this is definitely the old production one. Yeah, and the screws unscrew a lot easier than on the current retro joystick. And I hate screwing. Okay, that's it, and surprisingly it looks quite similar to the retro one. It's really a surprise. It also has the same brand micro switches inside, and to prove that it's the USB one, here's the cable. Yeah, so there's really not much on the USB controller board. Yeah, just some chip on board with an epoxy blob on top. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same as the newer production run. Don't think they changed anything. And yeah, since this is just the USB variant, this is basically the difference, and the cable is the difference from the retro to the USB one. Yeah, and this one is supposed to have a terrible USB controller chip, which gives you terrible lag. So I think I never used the USB one. This is from Getty, my mate, who helped me on the live stream. So maybe some of you who saw the live stream know Getty. Yeah, basically, since I don't use emulators very much, I never used the USB variant, and I don't have enough spare cash on me to just buy it to have it. So yeah, thanks again to Getty for lending me this for the review. Yeah, so which one should you get? Yeah, I think if you can get one in a good condition, which with a good strong rubber bearing, some of them tend to get quite loose, and some of them tend to harden so that the stick gets really stiff. And with good fire buttons, then get the original one with the leaf contact fire button. It plays the best, but the bearing has to be in good condition. And I don't know if there are any replacement rubber rings for the bearing. That would be a nice product that I would buy a couple of times to get some of my old rubber beared Competition Pros in back to a good condition, because I really like the spring fire buttons. Yeah, if you know if there are some replacement for the rubber bearing in the older ones, please write in the comment. Yeah, but there's basically nothing. If you can live with the microswitch fire buttons, and they are slower, definitely slower. You can see that basically on older games. You get a lower fire rate on those games with the microswitch fire buttons. But otherwise, there's nothing wrong with the current production Competition Pros. And there's also nothing wrong with the older spring bearing type Competition Pros. Just avoid the Clear Competition Pro, which has the most brittle case and the worst fire buttons. You can replace the fire buttons with the spring, with the leaf contact ones, which greatly improves it. It basically makes this as good as the original microswitch Competition Pro. Yeah, I have to rebuild the original leaf contact, full leaf contact Competition Pro. Not sure how it plays, but yeah, I basically have to fit two of the buttons inside. I have enough of them spare, I think. Basically, I can use a dodgy one for the right one, which I never use, and a good one for the left one. I will do that someday, because I'm quite interested in how the really original Competition Pro feels like. Not sure how durable it was. Yeah. And if you get a later one, the older production spring bearing Competition Pros, yeah, I think you have to replace the microswitches sooner or later. They wear out really quickly. They really used the crappiest, cheapest ones they could get, which I don't think it damaged the reputation of the Competition Pro too much, because they were so easily replaceable and not very expensive, and it still lasted longer than most of the other joysticks without microswitches. I remember that I killed Quickshot 1 in less than half a year, and I don't think I managed to kill the first microswitches in my original Competition Pro Star. Within half a year. I think it took at least 8 or 9 months, which is not much better, but then again, you could easily replace them. Yeah, and enough waffling. That was my comparison video of my favorite joystick, and I think it was one of the most popular joysticks here in Europe for the 8 and 16-bit home computers. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.